So, I just recently made a post on my Instagram page, and my post was, I don't know, I guess I was just freestyling thoughts, right? So I'm just going to read it to you. It says, as an independent artist, I wear many hats. By the time I had reached 7 years old, I was operating the paper route and collecting money weekly. I have always worked, but it was not until my 30s that I understood why my work ethic was valuable. And then I thank the people for supporting my work throughout my 35 plus years of living, learning, and life. So, you know, it wasn't until like after my 30s that I realized that the experiences that I had, although, for instance, I wasn't employed. Like, let's say if you ever babysitted before, you would babysit younger siblings or cousins. That was a skill that you were developing. You were managing people, right? Because especially if it was more than them, you had to, organize whatever y'all were going to do for the day. Make sure everybody was doing what they're supposed to do. Make sure nobody was fighting. Stuff like that. So, you might not think that that matters, but all of your life experiences matter, and they set you up, or they are contribute to the foundation that you have. So as an artist, you might have to step outside, especially if you're an independent artist. You're going to have to step outside of a box that you might be trapped in, because you're on the outside looking, trying to look in on what others have, and you don't necessarily see what goes on behind the scenes. And whether they have support or not, or no support at all, support or no support, you don't really know what goes on. Then you have the fact that some people don't want you to know what goes on, because they want you to either do the work, research, and find it for yourself, or they just don't want to give you any type of advancement in becoming their competitor. So, you know, I in a way, I do like helping people, but in another way, I like to weed out people as well. Because if you're not gonna put in the work and you just sit there all the time waiting on someone to do something for you, you don't really want it. And if you were to get it, and that was your habits, if you get it, you're not gonna sustain it, because you don't know how to work and keep it up. You don't know how to stand back up if somebody knock you down, because you're just sitting and waiting on something to come to you. So it's like wasted time, energy, and effort spent on you when you not working harder than me for you. You know what I mean? Like, and that you can apply that to relationships as well. You are not, like, no matter how much, if no matter if you do follow the masses, or if you decide to like be independently and stand alone, especially when it comes to morals, views, and thoughts, right? You are still an individual. You can agree 100% with whatever podcaster has a major platform and a lot of viewers, and you could believe what most of the things that they say, but you're still not that individual. Like, if you were ever to get to know that individual, you will realize that there are some things about them that you probably don't agree with, unless you're one of those people who blind themselves to flaws of others, because you're so, like, I don't know, infatuated with something that they have going on. So as an independent artist, especially if you're young, I would tell you to not be so eager to jump into things just because they're holding up something shiny. Because when it comes to music or acting, it's all part of the entertainment business, and it's their job to make things shiny. Just like those little bugs that come and hit that light because it's shiny and it's killing them. They're attracted to the light, but it's killing them. That's what you are when you're just jumping into things and not thinking about it. You have to make sacrifices so that you can obtain the things that you want. But the sacrifices that a lot of people make are not the right sacrifices. Like, sacrifice getting high, sacrifice drinking, sacrifice partying all night, sacrifice chasing booty. Like, sacrifice those things. Don't sacrifice your relationship with your kids, or with your spouse, or your baby mama or baby daddy. Those are the wrong sacrifices. Don't sit up here and sacrifice your reputation, because you're known as somebody who use people so you can get ahead, because you believe that that's what other people do, or that's become the standard. Like, you know what? Even if that's what you want to do, fuck it, stand on it. I mean, my bad, I ain't mean to cuss. Stand on it. That's you, right? That's you, and you've come to terms with that, and you're okay with that. That's you. I cannot sit here and tell you what type of person to be. So maybe the things that I'm talking about is not for you. You know, the things that I'm talking about is for like-minded individuals, and that might only be 2 people. It's for like-minded individuals. It's for people who, you know, maybe I had some experiences that might enlighten you a little bit, regardless of my age. Like, don't let the age fool you, or don't let my appearance fool you. You know, I may have experienced some things, and I can give you insight on my experiences, what I observed and what I learned doing those things, and perhaps that can help you out on your journey. It doesn't matter if you're 20 years older than me or 10 years younger than me. And it might be some things that you experience that might help me out, because when I get to know people, I sit there and talk to people, and I don't really care so much about your art. I'm trying to get to know you and some of the things that you went through, because it helps me decide what type of person you are and what level you're currently at, because everybody's at different levels, and some people step back to past levels because it's just a part of life. We get thrown with circumstances or life's test all the time, and it's pretty much about choice. Like, you have the choice to do something or not do something, regardless if somebody tell you can or can't. You still have to make that decision to not do it or do it, and then you have to live with the consequences, whether they're bad or good. And just because it's a good consequence for you doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be bad for somebody else, you know, because not everybody's going to be affected. Everybody's affected by your decisions. And I guess that's the other thing I wanted to talk about how decisions, your choices matter. I was just listening to a story the other day. It was about a lady who got sucked out of an airplane, and she died, right? But the lady who made it to the seat before her normal routine was to sit in next to the window, right?
You're a 2 a.m. wild child, shred the couch on a whim. My little fluffy crazy cat who don't play nice with the kids. You're a danger floof, but I'll keep it safe where you poop. You're an unnatural beast with natural litter under your feet, yeah. At least in your box insane. No more dust all over the place. Everybody without clay, say meow. World's best cat litter for the world's best cat.
But that particular day she was late. And that particular day she, I guess, drank like a large cup of coffee. And she got on the airplane, and she knew she was going to have to go to the bathroom. So she was like, in her mind, she was being considerate of anybody that sat in the 3-seat row with her. So instead of sitting by the window, which is what she preferred, she sat on the aisle seat. And she was in that seat, in the aisle seat, and the lady was 2 seats over against the window. And I guess the whole circumstances to that it affected her, because she knew that could have been her. And she wasn't there because of the choices she made that day. She was running late. She didn't get to sit in front of the seat she didn't get to sit in the front of the plane. She had to settle for one of the seats in the back. She didn't get to sit by the window because she made the decision to sit on the aisle because she was thinking about, other people. And then the incident happened where the engine blew, and it busted out that one window. Like, not all the windows, that one window on the airplane. And it ended up sucking the lady out. It didn't suck her out completely, but because they were at that altitude and it was going that fast, and then the suction coming out of the airplane, it could have either been the force of her being sucked through the window, or just the oxygen being sucked out of her body from being, hanging out of the airplane like that. So, but her choices, like, it's your choices. Like, you think, like, had she not had that cup of coffee, would she have still sat by that window seat? And if she had done that, that could have been her that lost her life that day. So your choices matter, even the little things. I wish you all the best. Reach out to me if you need some help. I like to help up and coming independent artists with various things, as I've mentioned before. Most of the things that I'll help you with, like I said, if it does not take up a lot of my time, it's like little small promotional videos. Like I might take your video clips, phone videos, or just use some stock video footage, use it, throw your song on there and give it to you, use for a promotional, because I know a lot of people don't have access to a lot of things. I know this because I was once in that position, especially when I was younger, working like 2 or 3 jobs at once to make bills. So I didn't have the extra money to invest in myself as an artist because I was paying bills. I didn't have money to buy myself clothes. Like I didn't even start buying myself clothes until my 30s. So for all, like from 16 all the way up to my 30s, all my money, even though I was working like 2 or 3 jobs, went to bills. I never had nobody giving me money. I never had no male giving me money. I was always working or making what I have stretch until I could find something better. So I learned a lot being a single parent and then taking care of my family, and also whenever I could try to educate myself on the things that I was interested in, because I always knew that I wanted to have my own business, but I had not settled on what it was. It's funny because a guy had asked me once, he was like, what you want to do? I said, be my own boss. He said, what business? I said, I don't know. I just want to be my own boss. That's always been my thing. But I can never just settle on one thing because I let people convince me that you had to pick one thing, right? But nothing about me is one thing. I've always done multiple things. Even being a parent, you're doing multiple things. Parenting is one thing. Working is the other thing. Supervising the kids to do their work. Supervising the kids to go outside. I was the type of parent that supervised my kids. If I wasn't out there with you, you wasn't going outside. I was not going to let them run outside because through various times throughout my career, I worked for the school district and I knew what was up with kids, And then I remember being a kid. So I wasn't going to be naive to the fact that as a child, especially being unsupervised, you're influenced by other kids, whether parents want to recognize that or not. And some of those other kids do not necessarily come from good environments, or they might come from toxic environments and they don't know no better. They're just kids, and that's part of their foundation. So you pissed and you angry at those children, but they was not born that way. It was something that they were exposed to or something that they are reacting to. But even though I know that, I didn't want my kids unsupervised around other kids. So what I would do, without them even knowing, I'm watching y'all, I used to go to the Goodwill and buy sporting equipment that they have in there, whether it be baseballs, pitcher gloves, the little thing that the catcher would wear. I used to find all kind of crap at the Goodwill. And then I go to the park and I'll be out there playing baseball with the kids or playing basketball, dodgeball, showing them how we used to play kickball back in the day. That's what I used to do. So the kids got to play, but we didn't do it all the time, right? So it was, every weekend, really on the weekend, if I didn't have anything else going on, or if we didn't have anything else going on, but that's what we did. But that's in short. Anyways, time management, organization, making some changes in your life, is especially dealing with certain people, your mindset. You pursuing music, but you also should build yourself as well, because you're going to have to be the one that stands there alone when you have things coming at you. You want to run your business and make your music is your business. Make sure your things are running smoothly. Make sure you don't have people taking advantage of you. If you do, know how to handle that the proper way. Understand that you have something to lose, especially if you have children or family dependent on you. So you have to handle your business differently, because I think a lot of people get out here and they get these opportunities. And it's not even no shade to nobody, but a lot of times they want to put people in positions who don't know no better or don't know nothing that's not gonna make no changes, because they don't want things to change. They don't want you to survive. They don't want you to stay up there. They want you to become dependent on something so that you could be broken down or have some type of control on you. And you who is they? They is whoever is smiling in your face but trying to stab you in your back when you're not looking, or even while you looking at them. That's who they is. They is whoever. They could be your family. They could be your spouse. They could be anybody. But you just have to recondition yourself to not be okay with the behavior or treatment that people give you just because that might be a standard in the area that you've grown up in or in your home. It is okay to recognize some things as being wrong and then removing yourself from that. It is okay to survive. I mean, it's okay to forgive people and never talk to them again. You do not have to live your life based off of what they want, because they're being selfish ultimately. They want you to forgive them, and then they want to throw religion out there, and then like you still got to talk to them and deal with them because of whatever. No, you don't. Your peace and your happiness is important. If they were so selfish to the point that they didn't consider you when they were stabbing you in the back or not supporting you, not protecting you, then you had a right to be selfish and protect your peace. That's all I'm going to say today. I appreciate your time. Again, thank you. Have a great day.